Now y'all can hear me. We are live. Welcome everybody to the All-Star Sports Report episode number 12. March Madness tonight. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about men's tournament. We got a little bit of NASCAR. We got a little bit of Formula One. We got a little bit of maybe golf. I don't know. I mean, they're still kind of playing. Word has it. Legend has it they will finish this game in 3.5 years. But we are here. We're here to have some fun. Of course, I'm Gary, even though it says AJ. That's funny. Anyways, that's Mike Campigio, and that's Mike Robinson. We're all here again. We were not told to get fired or anything like that, so we're all set. We're here. Thanks again to AJ and All-Star 15 TV for allowing us to crash here on the pod. This is the All-Star Sports Report presented by W Energy. You know what? We're just going to do the ad read right now. W is a brand of energy drinks designed to be clean, flavorful, and focused on energy. Use code AS15TV. For 10% off any order today, go to w.gg to place your order. Again, that is AS15TV for All-Star 15 TV. At w.gg, you'll get 10% off your next order. All right, so now I've gotten some bills paid. We'll read the ad again to pay some bills a little later on, but I figured, since we're at the beginning, might as well just go ahead and do it. All right, boys, so a lot of things happened today that I'm not happy about in regards to the tournament. The biased director, or athletic director at North Carolina, decided to put his team in the NCAA tournament.
On a resume,
and I'm glad that his term is done after this year. He can go get screwed, all right? He can just get off the committee.
I was going to say, with the resume that North Carolina had coming into today, yeah, that was kind of very, very bad.
Very bogus. Very bogus. Now, I'm not saying that Indiana would have done a damn thing, all right? They probably would have lost in the play-in or probably would have lost in the next round, okay? By the way, if you have to play in the play-in, to me, that don't count. To me, that doesn't mean the tournament. Now, my roommate and I have had this debate for the last week or so. But I think if you and I actually, you know what? I want to get y'all's thoughts on this too. If you have to play in the play-in, are you in the tournament?
No, no. To me, the play-in tournament is just an extra revenue source for Turner Sports and the NCAA. That's just my thinking on it.
Yes. Thank you.
Now, don't get me wrong. Those games can be very competitive, and they're kind of good at sometimes, but other times they're just blowouts, and it's like, eh.
Yeah. You literally could have saved us 3 hours of watching. It's like the NBA play-in tournament. Stupid. Anyways, I can go on that rant for 6 hours. I'm not going to.
Well, let's give Mike the floor. Mike, what do you think about the play-in tournament? Or the play-in games, I should say.
Yeah, play-in games.
Nope.
Truthfully?
Oh, okay.
Truthfully?
Oh boy, here we go.
I think it's stupid.
All right, hey!
I think it's stupid. I mean, because you're not guaranteed. Even if you win, it's not a guarantee that you're going to get in. As we've seen time and time
if
again.
You win, you're in. You'll be a 12 seed or an 11 seed or 16 seed.
Or 16, yeah, 16, yeah.
I just think it's stupid. I think it's dumb.
There's really only been one play-in team that's made it to the Final Four. Well, really two. VCU.
Oh, yep. That was just gonna say.
Yeah.
And UCLA.
Oh, God, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, those are the only two. The odds are not in your favor. And here's the deal. And I was complaining about this time. No one really seems to care. I get it, because it's like your punishment for not really making the tournament. That's what I'm saying. If you in the play-in, you didn't really make the tournament. Anyways. Should be 64 teams, not 68. But, I could go on. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to bore our listeners here. But, if you're going to have a play-in game, it needs to be in the same region as your next game. Don't be playing in North Carolina. Don't be playing in Dayton, Ohio. Just go play in Portland, Oregon the next day. Or a couple days. Like, that's crap. That's absolute crap.
Because they do them in Dayton every year, right? It's the first fours in Dayton, Ohio every year.
Dayton and I think, yeah. And then they put them all in the West bracket. Why would put them in the West bracket? Or at least have the West game over in Vegas or something.
Yeah, shorter
Like-
flight.
I mean, they used to have it in like Dallas, Oklahoma City, Austin, Fort Worth.
Or somewhere
They
in
don't-
like a central part of the country, like Texas or
You could easily, you could easily, I mean, you could easily do it in Oklahoma City.
You in Kansas City.
Kansas City's another good one.
the
St.
pro-
Louis.
I was gonna say the problem is Kansas City didn't really show up for the Big 12 tournament because that stadium was freaking empty for all the Big 12 games this
They
year.
never do.
well, and I think especially with Kansas not playing down the stretch, I think chalk that up to me. Arena was empty,
Maybe just a little bit.
but you know it is what it is. I was surprised that they made it from the way their last 12 game stretch was not very good. It was not great.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
guess you could say that Houston's the new powerhouse in the Big 12.
We'll talk about the brackets, but what I find funny is freaking Kansas is playing Arkansas. And that's just like those two teams are god awful, and it's like I feel bad for the winner of that game. I'm just saying.
I mean,
I think I picked Arkansas. Maybe I picked Kansas. I don't remember.
Well, I picked Kansas because screw John Calipari. so
I
I
picked
knew
Kansas.
your bias against Calipari was just
Sorry.
sitting there. That was beautiful.
I had to do it.
Only reason I picked Kansas is because of their history.
That's fair.
That's fair.
We'll talk about the brackets here in a little bit, but that's kind of the opener today, ladies and gentlemen. Is the bracketology. But we had a Formula One race this morning at 1 a.m. that apparently Mike Campigio stayed up all night to watch.
I
Oh,
did.
but that makes
10
two of
laps
us.
my butt. Anyways, so I did not stay up and watch the race, the whole thing. I think I watched maybe the first half, and then I dozed off and didn't wake back up. So, why don't you gentlemen that watched the whole thing tell me about the race?
Mike,
Because it
go
was a
ahead
rain
first.
race. That much I did know.
First of all, that entire race in itself was probably one of the best products we have seen in the last decade. I swear to God, that was probably one of the craziest weather races I have ever watched. I mean, and you can chalk that up to even Nürburgring several years ago in the like 2005, 2007, whichever one it was, where everybody wrecked on that when it started raining.
It's always funny to me to see $500,000 race cars, or even probably more, probably closer to $1 million race cars, just slamming into the fence in the rain.
Well, the thing is at first they were talking about, oh, they're just gonna do a safety car start or a rolling start behind the safety car, and then I'm like, all right, grab some balls and like just do a standing
Well-
start. Like it wasn't that bad, like visibility wise,
Well-
until you got to the back half of the course.
Well, and that's the thing. You got to remember this too, Mike. The F2 race, they canceled that.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, so to say it wasn't that bad, like that was a
Well, it wasn't
straight
that bad by the
downpour.
time Formula One came around.
Well, I mean, with how and with how new that surface is for
That's true. It's still
Albert
very
Park,
slick.
it's not sealed.
Well, it's like they were talking like the bike lanes where they like the paint,
The painted
white
lane,
paint.
it was
like
bad.
it was like ice.
Yeah. I mean, and with how, like I said, with how new that surface is and those painted lines, you weren't going to get grip.
I'll tell you one thing. Half the rookies did not finish that race, and that was
That-
like two of them under caution wrecked themselves.
Well, and I feel bad seeing what happened to Isaac.
Oh,
I
he was
mean,
horrible. He felt horrible.
Dude, and this is another testament as to why I am so heavy on the Hamiltons. Look at what Anthony Hamilton did after that. He saw how tore up Isaac was, and he consoled him like a father. I mean, Isaac idolizes Lewis, and to have the Hamiltons in his corner that way, that that I won't lie, it brought a tear to my eye seeing it. It really did, because the camaraderie that there is in F1. Yeah, you can have your rivals, but when it comes to a rookie's first big, pardon my French, but F up, I mean, before he even gets a chance to start the Grand Prix, it's rough. I mean, and of all things on the formation lap, we've seen crazier things happen. But for a rookie,
to not even get to complete a lap.
yeah, exactly. It's hard. It's hard.
And then
And who did that driver drive for? What team were they on?
Racing Bulls.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Racing Bulls. So it was good to see Anthony step out of the Ferrari garage and console Isaac like that. It was the perfect form of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You know, and then
my thing is, as we move further along into the race, when is Ferrari going to hire some real strategists?
Oh,
let's not don't start me on this.
You're gonna give him a 20-minute rant on this.
I'm stirring the conversation pot.
Stirring the pot.
You're stirring
this
the pot
goes
for
before.
Sure.
Now, I just want to say, this goes longer than Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, absolutely. This goes back to as far as 2010.
They haven't been good at strategy since I started watching Formula 1 in like 22. So from like what you told me, Mike's, and what Rambler's told me, it seems like they haven't been able to call strategy worth the crap since the late 2000s.
Well, they haven't been able to call a damn strategy to save their life since Kimi Räikkönen won in 07.
I was gonna say, Mike, they were like over the radio for both of those guys last night. They're like, do K1. And they're like, let me
Lead
work,
me
please.
to it, please.
Let me. Yeah. It's like, what?
Yes.
What are you doing?
Look, that's just how Hamilton is. Hamilton knows, like, he wants to feel that car out on the fly. I do not blame him. That is a champion right there. Let me figure it out. I mean, I said,
Lewis reminds me of one of those guys where, you know, if he's silent, one of two things are happening. One, he's happy with the car. Two, he's working to see how the car is, and if he needs to make any changes, he will let the crew know.
Yep.
And I think it's probably just one of those things. First race, new team.
Yep.
They aren't really sure how he works and operates. But yeah, Ferrari's just not good.
Looking at what happened, yes. Oh, I'm elated that I got to see Lewis lead a lap in a Ferrari. Okay, I was ecstatic.
It seems like their cars are decent. Like they could win a couple races this year.
Here's the thing, too. They were in perfect position last night, too.
They were, and what screwed them, and this is why, and I was out in the garage watching this with one of our teammates, Tavish, and I was like, why did you not stop and why did you put on the hard compound tires and go to slicks when you could have easily put on brand new intermediates and stayed ahead of everybody? Because that would have given Lewis and Charles a huge advantage. Well, everybody else is coming in. That would have gave them a huge advantage. And this is where I'm going to bring up Haas. Haas was smart. Haas was like, oh, we just went in. No, we need to come back in, take these boots off, and we need to put these on. Because that rain, as we saw, look at what happened to both Piastri and Norris. We nearly lost both McLarens in one corner.
So the race started in the rain.
Did it
get dry in the middle?
Yes.
We formed a dry line about...
So we put dries on, and then it ended in the rain.
And then it ended in the rain. They weren't... It
was about lap
I'm just trying to recap this here for the viewer that didn't get to see the race. So.
Yeah, so they were not on the slick compound for very long.
No.
They went in under the safety car, pitted, took took the tires, and they were still, I think they only got like 1 or 2 laps on the of racing speeds on the slicks. So all Ferrari had to do was throw on the intermediates, because they wouldn't have driving at the pace speed that they were at, it wouldn't have worn anything out. Plus, if they were going to be on them, there was enough water on the track still to cool those tires down and keep them cool for the restart. So Ferrari once again self-imploded, and they're already in mid-season form in the first race of the season. Go figure.
It's like that meme I sent you. It's the worst strategy call so far.
Of your life so far.
That's the meme I sent you earlier. But yeah,
I hate you for that.
Talking about the Piastri and Norris thing, that was like insanity. Because like you think about it, the camera was focused on something else. I think they were focused on Antonelli at the time, and then all of a sudden,
they were.
You flipped it to like turn 11. There's both McLarens off in the grass. It's like, holy cow! Like, what the heck just happened?
And then when it came.
Yeah, I was gonna say Piastri goes off in the grass and Lando Norris pits, and I thought, all right, Max Verstappen's gonna win this race now. They just handed it to Max.
Well, if you look at before that safety car came out,
battling side by side, or did they just follow each other?
No, they were following each other, and the rain just hit. The rain hit like a lap and a half sooner than what they were expecting.
So they were still on the slicks when they stood up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So they didn't get very many laps on that. And if Mike, if you go back and you remember when Max had his screw up, the McLarens were cleared by 19 seconds from Max.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Max's car historically has not had a good car in Australia.
Now, has Red Bull even struggled before Max? So is this like a Red Bull problem where they've always struggled in Australia? Or does Max just not like this road course?
Well, I want to say it's a mixture of
both.
A mixture of both, but I'm going to put more of this on Red Bull because like I said, historically, they just have not brought a good car to Australia.
So Max may just not even know what a good field is because he's been with Red Bull for a career.
Pretty much. I mean, the same thing happened with Ricardo. The same thing happened with Vettel. I mean, so it was a very, very crazy race.
It was.
I mean, we saw Albon flirting with third place at one time, and that
he got a casual P4, no damage.
Casually P4.
And George Russell in P3, where George doesn't do anything all race, and it's like, oh, P3 on the podium.
Doesn't do a damn thing. Doesn't make a pass, nothing. So, we already get a P3.
How did the second Red Bull car do? Were they just as bad?
Liam.
He spun it under wet conditions.
Yeah, under the wet conditions on the slick tire.
Is he going to be better than Checo, or is this more of a lateral move? Is the car just that bad because they put all their resources into Max? Or
I think we'll have to see how the season goes on before we can make that, because Australia was just a wild card with the weather.
That's fair.
It was a metaphorical, pardon my French again, shit show. Because, I mean, and in Liam Lawson's defense, he kind of got screwed in Q3. He went wide at turn 11 and went off the track. Couldn't recover, just pulled it in, went into the pits. So really, with where Liam Lawson qualified and started, it was just...
It was a crapshoot.
It really was. It really was. So we can't really base it on what was going on with Red Bull because, I mean, look at where Yuki Tsunoda qualified. That full qualified 5th.
He ran top 6, top 7 most all race until the end.
Dude, I was really hoping for a Yuki Tsunoda podium because I would have been like, oh, what a way to stick it to Red Bull for not giving him that seat.
Well, the crazy thing too is about the race too. I mean, you had Fernando Alonso who wrecked, and everybody thought when they cut to it, it was going to be Lance Stroll, but Alonso wrecked, and then you had the other rookies wreck. Ollie Behrman and Antonelli were like the top 2 finishing
The
rookies.
only 2 finishing rookies.
And my thing is going forward here. What McLaren showed last night is they have 2 cars that can compete for the championship this season with Verstappen. But here's the thing. I just got done watching Drive to Survive. One of the last episodes that I finished was the whole Norris versus Verstappen thing last year, how competitive they were. What Lando needs to learn from that last year, finishing second in the championship battle, he needs to take all the aggressive nature and put it to full use, because Max is going to be aggressive and Max is going to step over the line. And if you want to win a championship and go head to head with Verstappen, Norris has got to go super aggressive and balls to the wall.
He's just got to get to that line and let Max make those mistakes.
Correct.
He's got to become king of the kill, as I like to say. He has to be the king of the kill.
So I didn't get to see the finish. I didn't see the finishing results. So who won the race?
Lando Norris.
Who won?
Yeah, it was really good.
Piastri? Was it a
no
podium? Or?
It was Verstappen,
and then Russell.
Yep. So your top 10: Norris, Verstappen, Russell, Antonelli, Albon, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Leclerc, Piastri, and Hamilton was your top 10.
And Piastri only got that P9 because he passed Hamilton on the last lap around the outside, which I can't be mad at, because that was a very calculated move.
Well, and I feel bad for Piastri too, because he had a real shot to win the race until that rain hit.
He was on fire.
But we see McLaren, and this is just what I've heard from Formula One past. I don't know if it's still true, where your teammates, you don't really work together.
No, they let him race.
You compete against each other. Like
they let him race.
That's like your biggest rival on the track is your teammate. Could we see something to where maybe McLaren changes that mold a bit to where
team orders?
No team orders, but they work a little more closer.
Yeah, I could see that.
I could see that to an extent, but Zach Brown put it best last night. When they asked him how long Oscar was going to have to hold that spot, he said, "Oh, he doesn't. Let him race."
Well, you remember last
year.
I was going to say, you remember last year too, they got a lot of backlash for letting Piastri win that race, and Norris was like, "Why am I pulling over for this? I'm the one leading. Why do I have to pull over?" Because that's how Piastri win his first race last year because of that. I'm trying to remember what race that was.
Yeah, I can't remember what race it was, but I remember watching it with y'all. What the heck are we?
I was going to because I got a bunch of backlash for that.
Well, and
a lot of it is from the American fans, and what we do here in America is we don't pull over for nobody. I mean, if you look at IndyCar, you look at IMSA, you look at
NASCAR,
IndyCar, you look all the American sports, right? Even I'll throw dirt in there too. Nobody pulls over for nobody.
You're right.
Ever. There's no team orders. They don't exist. Now, you work with your teams for setups and maybe Daytona and Talladega. That's probably the only time that you'll work with the teammate ever on a racetrack.
And you try not to wreck each other.
You try not to wreck each other. You give yourself a little more respect than the other guy next to you on the racetrack at any other place. But and this was a conspiracy theory that Hendrick Motorsports had a few years ago, of Jeff Gordon or Jimmy Johnson letting each other out of the way in a race. And then 2014, when Dale Earnhardt Jr. won at Martinsville, they were saying, Junior shouldn't have won that race. It should have been Gordon, so he can go to the championship for it. Well, if Gordon had a good enough car, he could have passed Junior. I have plenty of time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I say about motorsports is if you have a good enough car, pass them.
Well, and that's why one of the things that I was sitting here getting ready, I was thinking about Piastri was, in my opinion, and from what I was seeing, he was faster than Norris last night. By far faster than Norris.
But because of the slide off of the track, Piastri's a little worse than Norris's, and so that's why it comes to the right.
Yes. And it was just the smallest
mistake.
What is it? It was just the smallest mistake. And I mean, he dipped the tire off just slightly.
Just enough.
Just enough. But I mean, the same thing happened with Alonso, but we saw what happened with Alonso, and Alonso backed that car into the wall. He was done.
Yeah, just
I
to
mean-
recap the whole conversation. Australia was just a wild card race, and it was a great way to kick off the season.
And the
Oh,
next race
absolutely.
is
They're going to
China!
China, and that start time is 3 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday. And
This is-
they also have the sprint, the first sprint event of the
Mhm.
weekend, which will be, I think, Friday night at 11 o'clock Eastern time, which is the first sprint race of the year.
Yeah, it's gonna be. That's funny.
That's funny. That's
yeah,
the first. What's the first time they're going to China? What, since COVID?
Yeah, it's their first time in Shanghai since COVID. That is funny. Oh my gosh.
So I mean, we can obviously say, since these guys haven't been there in what, 5 years, this could be another wild card race just because
Yeah,
nobody's
it's
been there
gonna
in
be a good
5
one.
years.
This is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a really good one.
do they still race at Japan?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do they rotate between Motegi and Suzuka?
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
Suzuka is the only one on there.
Okay. Good to know. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up for Formula One. We got some NASCAR races to talk about. I didn't really watch Truck Race Friday.
It was a rain fest, and
It was a rain
Corey-
fest. Was the race called early, or did they get it
It
all
was.
done?
They got it all done. Late. It was late, but they got it all done. And Corey Heim was the wiener. Heim time, as they say.
Good old Heim time. All right, so that's trucks. Next, we got the Xfinity race, which I was actually able to watch yesterday. Hoorah! Go fight, lose. Now, if Mike would have given us the right time of when the race started,
Yeah, KPGO.
telling us 4 Central, 5
I-
Central.
I thought it was later than what it was, because that's what I've been used to the last couple weeks.
Telling us the wrong
I mean,
time.
that's fair.
This is the entire first stage. It's not like we missed anything. So
I mean, that's valid.
It was not. I mean, it was kind of just a dudder yesterday.
it was a mile and a half race. Allgaier won, so that was good to see.
Caleb Lamb will be happy.
Oh, well, I know a couple of Justin Allgaier fans other than Caleb, including myself. So good to see him get it done in Las Vegas, but can't get it done in Phoenix for whatever reason.
Nope.
Dominating all damn laps. Can't win these. Anyways, so we got that. So that was cool. Allgaier won, and then another heartwarming moment in the NASCAR Cup Series today. Josh Berry on speed, wins at Las
Did
Vegas.
he win that race?
He won
He
at Las
did.
Vegas.
Let's go, Josh
So
Berry.
somebody was saying today that this the same track where Josh Berry got his first Xfinity win. I just want to set the record straight. Where was his first Xfinity win, folks?
Martinsville.
Thank you. That was his first mile and a half, or
Yes.
that was his first Xfinity win. But 101st win for the Wood Brothers, so that's pretty cool.
That is
as a
cool.
company. Their first win at a mile and a half since Morgan Shepherd in 1992.
Wow.
I think it was 92.
So-
It might have been 93. But their first intermediate win in over 30 years. So,
Wow.
It was a very interesting race today. We had all sorts
I
of
thought at
issues
one point
before-
Logano was going to win that thing. I was like, I'm going to win the pool that I'm in this week. It's going to be great. And then I saw Barry win. I was like, okay. That's very cool.
Well, the race overall is interesting just because of how many tire issues we had, and then they had guys that couldn't get tires
And then
locked on.
Apparently, they don't know how to work the lug nuts. And so,
No, it was
especially
no.
Kyle Busch's crew. And
Chase Briscoe. And then Seabell, they had Seabell drive down to the 19 pit stall. And was like, turn in, have them tighten it up for you.
Yeah, you can't
really
do
don't
that
trust
there,
them to
bud.
tighten it up when they can't even tighten up their own guys, the lug nuts.
It was crazy. And
That's how
then-
you do it when you don't got sticky nuts.
And then
Well-
Ryan Blaney getting involved. I mean, Ryan Blaney had a hell of a day. I mean, he
He
probably had
came
one
all
of
the
the
way
fastest
from the
car
back.
there.
Didn't he work up into the top 5 at one point?
Mm-hmm. And
Pretty
then
good.
he had a long pit stop in stage 1 that killed him. Then he was a lap down. Then got the free pass, and then got caught up in the multi-car wreck late in the race.
Woohoo! By the way, I just want to say,
sucks.
Ricky Stenhouse did not cause the wreck this week. It was AJ Allmendinger.
It was.
Wow, Dinger,
But,
what are you
but,
doing?
AJ probably thought, well, Ricky doesn't back off for anybody. That's
I tell you
probably
what.
not. That is probably not what happened, but that's what it looked like.
I tell you one thing though, that Suarez, him and Barry, when they were side by side late on that restart, late race restart, I thought Suarez, when he was going to side draft Barry down the back straightaway, they almost made contact. I said, "Oh my god, if you guys made contact, I thought both of you were going to go wrecking in front of the field." Because he did not time that side draft very well.
Suarez has a really good car. I've noticed this year, the first few weeks of the season.
Suarez does have a good car
Now I will
underneath him.
say Suarez is driving like his job is on the line.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm getting.
He's constantly looking over his shoulder. He was looking over his shoulder because of SVG last year. Now he's looking over his shoulder because of Connor Zillage this year.
Uh-huh.
I mean, by the way, shout out to Connor Zillage because he had a pretty doggone fast car yesterday too.
I think what P3 he finished.
Race. Yeah, I mean he was right up there competing with Almirola and Allgaier there at the beginning of stage 3 as far as taking the lead and led some laps. And
I think he fell back. I don't think he was P3. I think he fell back.
I think he still finished like top 5, maybe top 10. But he still had a really solid day. I was happy for Zillage. That kid is learning really, really fast on the fly. Because, I mean, he only has the TA experience, Trans Am cars. And then he's got a few late model starts and a couple of ARCA starts at short tracks. So he doesn't have a whole lot of big oval experience. So to see him pick it up relatively quickly and running as well as he's been is pretty cool to see. But yeah, next week NASCAR is going to Homestead, ripping the boards. Suarez with P2. Barry on the win today. I don't know who finished third. Was it Byron?
Let me just double check here. But I'll tell you one thing. Why I'm looking this up. I'll tell you one thing though. Joe Gibbs Racing, crappy day for them. That was very shocking. Ryan Preece finished third.
Oh, shout out to Ryan Preece. He's finally in a good car and starts showing it.
Denny Hamlin, horrible day. Ty Gibbs is nowhere to be found the entire day, and C-Bell was not very good either. It was very surprising for Joe Gibbs Racing today.
Shout out to Ross Chastain, top 5. Really solid, clean day for him. Saw him running like 15th or 20th in the early part of the race. And I was kind of watching on my phone, so I wasn't paying fully attention. But look at my phone, a few minutes later, and he's leading the race.
Yeah, he took a 2-tire pit stop. A few of those guys took 2-tire pit stops at the end of stage 2 when they had about 10 laps to go on a restart in stage 2.
Yeah, I mean, I know the front row didn't finish well with Logano in 15th and McDowell in 16th, but McDowell rebounding to finish P16 when they were like
awful,
buried. I mean, that's a great point stay for them. Great recovery.
Well, another thing too, good recoveries for Alex Bowman and Chase Elliott. They were both in the back due to multiple speeding penalties. Bowman had a loose wheel, and they could never get up toward the front until the end of that race. So good recoveries on those two.
I'm reserving my comments on Chase Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I just
he said he knew it. He said he knew it was his fault, so he did say that over the radio.
Well, congrats to him. Everything's his fault because he always takes blame. Even when it could be his crew's fault to give him a slow pit stop, and he'll still say it's his fault. You're giving me the same old boring answer, like Christopher Bell out here, boring as heck.
Oh, I wish I could give you the number one for that one. Oh, I want to give you the number one so bad for that.
But no, I mean, Chase gives you the same answer every time if he doesn't win the race. So why even interview? Because he gives you the same crap every time. Oh, well, didn't do good this week, on next week. Thanks, Tampa, for sponsoring me. Okay, all right, cool. Thanks. Yeah, bye. See ya.
Sounds about right.
He doesn't want to be on no damn reality TV show for Netflix. He just wants to show up, go fast, and turn left. Which is great, but like the fans want to know about you.
Well, especially if you're the most popular driver, you at least kind of get back to.
It's kind of like Harvick's quote a few years ago about juniors stunting the growth of the sport. Yeah. Thanks, Chase Elliott. Anyways. Shout out to Brad though, P11. He started 27th, but ran consistently all day. It seemed like he was anywhere from 8th to 12th most of the day.
He barely missed that big wreck too. He was
Yep. Busher 2 finished in 13th. Really solid day for them. And they've always had decent speed at Vegas, but today they were able to put another decent one together. And Justin Haley finished in 14th. Started 33rd and finished 14th. It's a pretty good run for them. So good to see that. But man, Eric Jones absolutely tanked today too. I mean, I saw earlier in the race he was running top 5.
He about wrecked it too. He made a heck of a save. He about wrecked it in front of Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, for sure. But next week is Homestead, Miami.
Yes, triple header next week.
Triple header next week. Drivers only Friday night.
Yep.
So you better believe I will actually be tuning into the truck race and listening to it for once.
Yeah, same here.
Got that. We've also got the first round of the NCAA tournament Friday, so we got a lot of sports.
Kyle Larson is doing the triple header next weekend. He's running trucks, Xfinity, and Cup next weekend.
Probably for the first time in his career. I can't remember the last time that he's ran a triple header.
Yeah, it's been a while. Very long time.
Cannot remember. So, but yeah, so Homestead will be fun next week, and Kyle Larson probably has a shot to win all races, until he decides to hit the barriers on pit road. Nothing.
Homestead's gonna be a good race.
Nothing on that one with Kyle Larson hitting the barriers because he's an idiot.
I mean,
he's an idiot, fool, and he's gonna be working on the other network. Oh.
It'll be good. Homestead will be good, and we'll see now once they leave Homestead if they're going to do renovations to that place so they can try to get the championship race back in 26.
Please go back to Homestead.
Well, I mean, we were just there 6 months ago, and they had a really good finish. So
not the king of 1 mile cheating tracks. I mean, what? What?
What was that?
We might as well call it, instead of Phoenix Raceway, we might as well call it Penske Raceway. Okay, that's what they've got going on down there.
I mean,
before we switch gears to talk about Penske and Sebring, we'll just mention that IndyCar and NASCAR will be going head to head next Sunday at 3 o'clock
because we're idiots. Yes.
So you get Thermal on Fox and you get NASCAR on FS1 same time next Sunday.
We are so smart.
We are so smart. Bad.
We are so smart in the motorsports industry, let me tell you.
And you'll get more exciting broadcast crew on one channel versus the other.
Yeah.
Are you trying to say that the Fox crew sucks because Kevin Harvick has no personality, Mike Joy is a fossil, and Clint Boyer just says whatever the hell he wants?
Mike Joy, he's still the man. I mean, he's trailing a little bit, but he's still the man. But Harvick and Boyer, their chemistry, yeah.
That's funny.
I've not liked Boyer since Boyer came in 21. He's said nothing useful in the booth to me.
They're trying to make him a DW. Daryl was insightful and won some championships.
Heck, let's give a shout out to Kyle Busch in the CW booth because that was very entertaining on Saturday.
Dude, seeing him in the booth was pretty dang cool.
Pretty much a natural in the booth.
He is.
I want to say he's done some ARCA races in the past. Maybe even some truck races.
I think he's done truck races and Xfinity back in the day.
Yeah, so and he was doing pretty good. So if he wants it, him and Kurt Busch probably both have a career in broadcasting if they want it. I don't think they do. So, but
yeah,
alas, here we are. All right, so we got Sebring,
Mike Robinson.
Sebring was an interesting one. Sebring was very, very, very action-packed. I'm not gonna lie. Oh man, I think between Sebring and the Formula One race, Sebring definitely put on a good one because
I don't like who won.
I don't like who won either. But can we give a shout out to Nick Tandy for winning all 6 major races?
That's cool.
All right, you know what?
Cool
Could you have done it with a different team?
Yeah. Yes.
Could you have done that with like Chip Ganassi?
Could you have done it with the
Meyer Shank?
Wayne Taylor?
Wayne Taylor. Somebody not Roger Cheatsky.
I mean, dude,
How can the Porsche run so crap on iRacing, but in real life they're so fast? That doesn't make sense.
because they're German. Is that a valid answer? Can we say it's because they're German?
Sure, we can say that.
Now,
I'm gonna catch up some comments here. Dun, 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 dun. Max Verstappen, that's from Golf McLaren.
of course it is.
All Star 15 TV, aka AJ, said, I agree. I don't like Phoenix for the championship race, either Homestead or what I'd like to see, Charlotte.
Yeah,
Thoughts on Charlotte for the championship?
No.
Charlotte. No, you know what we need to do? We need to just reconfigure Atlanta back to its old ways, and we need to have the championship race in Atlanta. Fight me.
Yeah, give me Homestead all day.
I will say I wouldn't mind seeing it, Charlotte. I think it'd be interesting.
But the problem is they're never bringing back that second oval. They're never going to bring it back.
No, I think that's part of it. And two, with the championship being the first week of November, that's kind of
Yeah.
It's kind of like a box of chocolates there in North
You
Carolina.
never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, thank you. You never know what you're gonna get weather-wise in Charlotte around that time.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing that it could go the same way with IndyCar and everything else. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, you're already pushing the end of the season with Talladega and Martinsville close to November for like the last two races of the round 8. You're already pushing it with those two tracks weather-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. No, you right. You right.
Yeah. Go ahead. Keep going on Sebring there, Mike.
Yeah. So, so we know who won overall. Who won LMP2? Who won the GT classes? Let's dive into those.
Let me go look at this.
While Michelle Wanier is pulling that up, I'm going to read another ad.
Yeah, do that.
Actually, I'm going to read the same ad. W is a brand of energy drinks designed to be clean, flavorful, and focused on energy. Use code AS15TV for 10% off any order by going to w.gg. Again, that is w.gg. Use code at checkout AS15TV and save yourself 10% on your next order today. W. Proud sponsor All Star 15 podcast. Proud sponsor Warrior. Well,
righty. All right. So,
Cup Force.
Yes.
Perfect. So, who won LMP2 yesterday?
Well, hold on. Having to look. Okay. So, LMP2.
Can you speak into your microphone as well?
Oh, my bad. So, LMP2 was actually won by TDS Racing.
Give me a car number.
That
the 74 car?
Think so.
Or the
car number. That was actually ironically, that was the number 11.
Oh yeah. TDS, that's right.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of bummed out that Paul DeResta and them did not get that win, and they were leading for a while, man. I'm really yes, I'm kind of
they were leading for a while.
No, it was United Auto Sports Car 22.
Oh, those guys. Yeah, they were good too yesterday.
They were kicking some butt. GTD was won by, of course, AF Course. I personally was hoping that it would be
Rexy.
Yes, Rexy, but Vassar Sullivan came out of nowhere and was leading for a little bit, and Vassar Sullivan actually looked to have a car to win it with the Lexus.
Didn't they get moved out of the way though, like the last 20 minutes of that race?
Yes, they did. They got moved out of the way by the 57 Windward team.
Yes, they did. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to lie. There was some very, 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 very choice words from me for that. But
Jack Hawksworth, I mean, shout out to the IndyCar bus, making himself a decent career in IMSA racing.
Yeah,
he's done phenomenal.
Hawksworth,
and it's good to see Vassar Sullivan have some speed, because they've been kind of lacking that since what was it, 23 when they won or
Yes.
podium like 12 races in a row or something like that.
Yes.
They were just on a tear.
And then
So-
2024, they just tanked. Like, don't get me wrong.
24 was definitely a humbling year for them
Yeah.
to come back later and go back to square one, back to the drawing board, if you will, with how they approach things. And they've done pretty well up to this point. So
Yeah.
can't complain there.
I am bummed out for Tommy Milner and his boys. They did not finish very well. They finished.
Who end up running pro?
Dragon Speed ended up winning pro.
Okay.
Of course, it would be a Ferrari.
No. You don't understand. Do you know who owns Dragon Speed Racing? Or who used to own it?
I don't.
Do you want to know?
Yes.
Jay Penske.
Oh,
Really?
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that used to be a Penske-owned team. That's wild.
Yep. Jay Penske used to own. I think he's still like a principal there or something. But yeah, Jay wanted to do his own deal and ran Dragon Speed there for a while, and they were actually in IndyCar there for a couple years.
Oh, that's right. They were.
Post merger, because I think they might have been running in kart, maybe, I don't know. But they were running an IndyCar there. I think they had I want to say they had EJ Vizo at one point driving for them.
That's
no,
right.
I'm sorry. No, it was Oriol Servia.
Servia.
I always get those two confused. I don't know.
No, trust me, I feel that. I will say this. I do want to give a big shout out to Proton Competition.
Yeah.
They did really good.
Yeah, they were on solid yesterday.
Oh yeah. Also,
shout out to Myers Shank though. I mean, to
Yes.
basically come from being non-existent last year, and this year coming back into the series and basically not skipping a beat like they never left in 24. Leaving right where they left off in 2023 was cool to see.
Yeah. We also got to see the debut of both the Lamborghini GTP yesterday and the Aston Martin Valkyrie. Which I will say this right now, that Aston Martin Valkyrie sounds sexy, dude.
Yep.
It may not look the coolest, but my God, that engine sounds so good. Oh,
Absolutely.
so hopefully we get to see more out of those two teams here in the future. So
yeah,
but overall, we had a great weekend for motorsports. It's absolutely insane.
Where is IMSA's next race? Is that Long Beach in a couple weeks?
Yes. Hold on. I can actually look this up. IMSA, where is the schedule?
Yeah, right.
Long Beach
Yes,
is their next
yes,
race,
it is. It is. April 12th.
It's a sprint race.
Yes,
Because I believe they're having that
2 hours.
Yeah, it's 2 hours 40 minutes. I think they're having that the day before the Long Beach Grand Prix.
They are. It is going to be on that Saturday.
They're usually on the same weekend.
So yeah, we got April 12th coming up. We're actually going to have a pretty decent one. So we'll be watching that. We're watching that on the USA.
I do enjoy watching cars that don't belong on that track racing on that track. So seeing MC,
dude, it's so cool.
It's entertaining.
The fountain corner is what makes that thing all the better, man.
It's like when they ran at Detroit. It's like they didn't belong in Detroit, but I mean it was fascinating to watch when they ran in Detroit.
Oh, when they were running Belle Isle, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right. So that's cool. Next thing, I guess.
Are you going to touch on golf before we get to our main
Yes,
conversation?
that's what I was just about to bring that up. So we're going to finish the Open tomorrow at 3.5 years. Weather delay for
the Players.
The Players Open. Was actually really good there for a while until lightning hit the area, and then they resumed play, and they weren't able to finish everything. So it's going to be a playoff of, you said 3 holes tomorrow?
3 holes at 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow.
And who's playing?
Rory McIlroy and JJ Spawn.
Oh, it's him and JJ, huh?
Yep.
Ooh, that could be a...
JJ Spawn missed a about a 20-foot putt on the last hole to win it tonight.
Oh man. Oh well. Let's go.
What a
Team Rory,
heartbreak.
baby.
What a
Team
heartbreaker.
Rory.
And I guess
I'll cheer for Rory, I guess.
yeah,
tomorrow.
Yeah.
let's go Rory tomorrow. It's be interesting. You get 3 holes, so it's like it's a
Because
mini
for like the
tournament.
Masters, when they have a playoff, it's just like sudden death, basically, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's usually like a 1-hole playoff.
So this is gonna be a little bit different than normal playoffs.
I don't
get 3
think we've
holes.
had it. I don't think we've had a 3-hole playoff in the last 10 years,
The
honestly.
last time that we've had a big playoff was Tiger and the one guy at the U.S. Open in 08. I forget his name, but that was like a
Oh
whole
yeah.
that
So
was a
it's-
whole 18-hole playoff on a Monday.
which was wild.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
That was
Oh,
probably
didn't
one
he
of the
win
crazy-
that back in 08 basically
Yes.
on a broken leg?
He did.
Yes, he did.
It's
That was when we started to see the downfall of Tiger when he broke his leg back
Well,
in 08.
I don't think it was a broken leg. It was the ligaments in his knees.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, torn ACL or something.
Yeah,
well,
it was-
Regardless, that was when we really start to see the downfall of
Yes.
Tiger, I think.
Yes.
The big news of the week outside of the Players' Championship is Tiger Woods had Achilles surgery and he's going to be out for a little bit. So we'll
And
see.
the next time we'll see him will be on the senior tour. Okay, great.
I was going to say if he comes back this year, it might be till the end of the year, or he'll come back next year.
He'll probably, if he comes back, he's probably going to be doing that
PNC.
that TGL.
That might be his first match back. Will be the PNC, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's in
absolutely.
December, right?
Yeah, normally
Yeah.
around December.
So that'll probably be the next time we see him.
But who knows? He might try to do the Open Championship at St. Andrews or something. I think it's St. Andrews this year. I could be wrong. Could be something else. Or he could do the U.S. Open. He might try it, but I think he'll be out for the Masters and he'll probably be out for the U.S. Open.
Well, that's your golf news. So let's go ahead and get down to the brown part of why we're all here tonight. That's the name of the freaking episode of this podcast. Let's talk about it. We got March Madness this week. We're gonna go top to bottom, looking at the brackets. So the way that bracketology works on ESPN, it goes south, east, and then it goes west and midwest for the bottom side of the bracket. So top side of the bracket here. Number 1 overall seed in the tournament was Auburn.
That not a shocker.
Not
Go
a
fight 'em.
shocker. I mean, the number 1 and the number 2 seeds overall in the tournament was Duke and Auburn. I can't really say I'm shocked because
Again, not a shocker.
best teams.
My only thing is go fight lose. That's all I can say to that. Go fight lose.
For who?
It's just not surprising that they were both the number 1 overall
I get it.
seeds. So I'm
Okay.
just like go fight lose.
Yeah, go fight lose.
Sounds
So,
about right.
They will be playing teams.
Whoa.
Both 16 teams. 16 seed teams are playing teams. So they will probably win by 30. I'll just go ahead. You know what? Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through my bracket first. I'll give you a little analysis.
Sure.
And then we'll go on to the next guy. Robinson, get your stuff ready. You're not going next, but just get it ready. Capizio, you're next.
Oh, it's already pulled up, baby.
All right, so first game, Auburn versus Alabama State. That's the first thing that's on there. It's Alabama State / whoever matchup. I got Auburn winning. In the 8-9 game, I've got out of the South region. It's Louisville Creighton. I've got Louisville winning that game. So they will advance to play Auburn later on down the line. The 5-12 game, we've got Michigan and then University of California, San Diego. 5-12 seed there. I've got Michigan advancing on and marching on. So that is for Michigan Wolverines. Dusty Mason. Next game after that's the 4-13 seed, A&M and Yale. I've got A&M in that. Sorry.
Dig 'em. I'll say it. As you all can see right here, it pains me to say it, but gig 'em.
All right. So, yeah, got A&M moving on. They'll play Michigan. Next game is UNC South Dakota State. For the 11 seed, they're going to play the winner of that game of the play-in. They are going to play Ole Miss. I've got Ole Miss winning that game. Then it's Iowa State Lipscomb. in a game. I got Iowa State. My first upset on the bracket. I've got 7 Marquette, 10 New Mexico State. They don't have a state or country. Anyways, I have got New Mexico State winning that game. Marquette's only favored by 2. And just watching New Mexico State throughout the year and Marquette, they're pretty evenly matched. And I think Rick Pitino's kid is gonna make some noise a little bit in the tournament. I think they're gonna win that game. And then your 2 seed out of the South region is Michigan State. They're gonna play Bryant. It's not gonna be close.
Not even.
Not even close. So I got Michigan State moving on to face New Mexico State. On the east side of the bracket, we've got Duke as the 1 seed versus whoever wins that play-in game for the 16 seed. I got Duke. Not even close again.
I can't blame you.
That 8-9 seed game there on the east side of the bracket, we've got Mississippi State and Baylor. I did pick Baylor.
Bear down, Gary.
The reason why they're very close, and as far as how their teams are built and their points per game and all that, obviously Mississippi State had a little bit of a better record in conference play this year in the SEC as opposed to Baylor out of the Big 12. But historically,
Baylor was outscoring.
Historically speaking, Baylor's been pretty good in the tournament. We've seen them make a Sweet 16 run before. That's why I picked Baylor. So I got Baylor. Moving on. They're going to play Duke in the round of 32. Next game is Oregon Liberty. I've got Oregon. I was on the fence. I was actually thinking about picking the upset there with Liberty because Liberty is a...
Aren't they a basketball school? Or are they more of that? We're kind of a balanced mix kind of school between their athletics.
Yeah. But I went ahead and picked the Ducks. Can't go wrong with the Ducks.
You can't go wrong with Oregon.
I like their uniform, so
I like their floor.
Yeah, their floor is very good.
Their floor is sick.
So I've got Oregon. Moving on. And speaking of which, I've got Akron and Arizona, the 4-13 matchup. I got Arizona. I thought about picking Akron just for the heck of it because the head coach of Akron used to go to high school 8, say. John Gross graduated from Danville Community High School. So, sick of that, but decided not to. We're going to go with Arizona. So there's that. The next matchup, BYU VCU. Looking at the spread and looking at how those 2 teams play, they're actually pretty similar. That was another team I was kind of on, maybe might make a Sweet 16 run. They've kind of done it before. But BYU has been incredible. They've been one of the hottest teams in the last month or so. So
yes,
pick BYU. Wisconsin, Montana, a 3-14 game. Wisconsin. I need to say more. I mean, they balled out in the Big Ten tournament. They've really balled out all year. Greg Gard, I think, is one of the best coaches in the country as far as that goes. I mean, he's been the head coach of Wisconsin his entire career. He picked up for Bo Ryan when Bo Ryan retired halfway through the year. He picked him up. He's been there about a decade. And he's only had 1 losing season. So, needless to say, Wisconsin's pretty good. I'll take Wisconsin. The 7-10 matchup, that is St. Mary's versus Vandy. I went St. Mary's.
Oh.
I don't know enough about Vanderbilt, to be honest. So I went with St. Mary's.
They were decent in the SEC this year.
They really were.
They weren't overpowering though.
Yeah.
And Robert Morris is back in the tournament.
Hey, that's cool to see.
They upset the Roll Tide. Alabama? No. They're not going to. So it's going to be Alabama. I got them moving on. So that's my round of 64 on the southeast side. So let's go round to 32 here. Starting off here on the south side, we've got Auburn, Louisville. I got Auburn. Bear down.
no,
War
wrong
Eagle.
one.
Sorry, War Eagle.
War Eagle.
Oh my God, you're gonna get Joe.
Yeah,
Oh,
Joe is
Joe's
about
gonna
to
come after
kill
man.
you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Joe is about to kill you through the
Yikes.
screen.
Joe, please direct all hate toward him, please. Thank you.
Yeah, leave us out of it.
War Eagle. I think they're moving on. Michigan, Texas A&M. That was a tougher matchup for me, but like I've said before, I think Dusty may minimum 16. So I've got Michigan, Texas A&M.
Boo.
So that's that. Next we've got number 6 Ole Miss, number 3 Iowa State on the South region. I've got Ole Miss. Chris Beard, really good coach. I mean, Ole Miss I think is kind of underrated in this tournament. I think if they were in another conference, they would have won their conference. The SEC has just been stacked this year. So taking Ole Miss. Then of course New Mexico State versus Michigan State. I've got Michigan State. Yeah, it's just gonna be the way it is. They're gonna beat New Mexico State, and it won't be close. Rick Pitino Jr. is gonna win one tournament game, and that's it this year. By the way, both Ricks are in the tournament, just so you know. But we'll get to St. John here in a minute. So that's that. And then for my Sweet 16, I've got on the south side of the bracket Auburn, Michigan, the 1 and the 5. I've got Auburn beating Michigan. And then Ole Miss, Michigan State. I've got actually Ole Miss on the upset there, putting them in the Elite 8. So it's going to be an all SEC matchup to get into the Final Four out of the South region. I've got Ole Miss.
Wow.
Gonna pull the upset there. So
Okay.
that'll be interesting. All right, east side of the bracket here. Duke, Baylor. Duke. Arizona, Oregon. Classic Pac-12 matchup.
Yes,
Or
sir.
should I say Pac-2?
Pac-2.
The Pac-2.
Pac-2.
Pac-10. You could say all of them.
Yeah. Anyways, so it's going to be Arizona. I've got Arizona over Oregon. I've got Wisconsin over BYU and Alabama over St. Mary's. So, next matchup after that, this is going to be the Sweet 16 matchups on the east side. You've got Duke, Arizona, Wisconsin, Alabama. I've got Duke and Wisconsin in their matchups respectively.
Okay.
And I've got Duke beating Wisconsin to get to the Final Four out of the East.
Not
Alright.
a bad one, dude.
So
Not bad.
we haven't even and out by the way, so I've got Ole Miss, and I don't have Ole Miss going to the championship game, but we'll just move on. So now we got to talk about the West and the Midwest. 1-16 matchup on the West side, Florida, Norfolk State. I mean, it could happen, but Florida. All right, I've got Florida winning that game. The UConn Oklahoma matchup there, 8-9 seed. I've got UConn.
That's bold.
I got UConn.
Championship
bold.
pedigree. Championship pedigree.
Plus, I figured you'd be happy for that one because it's sooner down.
Yeah.
No,
whatever it is that you-
no. As much as I hate OU, no, no, sir.
All right, fair enough. So, and then we've got Memphis, Colorado State. Call me crazy. Watch some Mountain West. I like watching Mountain West because I think they're fun to watch. I've got Colorado State pulling the upset. on
Oh,
Memphis.
that is bold prediction, Cotton.
There is always one 5-12 upset. It seems like every year or every other year.
I mean, you're not wrong.
The 5-12 matchup seems to be like upset central. I think it's going to be out of the West this year, and I think it's going to be Colorado State over Memphis. You got Maryland, Grand Canyon, Maryland.
Turpins. Yeah.
Drake, Missouri, the 11-6 game. I got Drake. Moving on. Got another upset. Couple upsets out of the West region. All right. Y'all think I was just going to be logical all the way through this? Heck no. That's
I
one of
thought
them.
you would.
One of them's going for the IU job.
No.
Same.
You're right.
So give me Drake over Missouri. Then you got Texas Tech and USC Wilmington. I got Tech.
Rackham Tech.
All right, and the 7-10 matchup, we've got Arkansas on the west side. Give me Arkansas.
No Rock Chalk Jayhawk from Gary?
No.
Wow.
No Rock Chalk Jayhawk?
Pause.
Wow.
What?
Here's why. Kansas, in the last 2 months, has been on the struggle bus from hell.
I'll give you that, but like, you
So,
can't count them
championship
out when it
pedigree
counts.
or no championship pedigree, championship schmampionship, give me Arkansas. The Hogs. All right. Give me the Hogs. And the last matchup here in the first round on the west side of the bracket, St. John's, Omaha. Give me St. John's. Give me St. John's. I have St. John's going deep tournament.
I'll give you St. John's.
All right,
I'll give you
Midwest
St.
side
John's.
of the bracket, we've got Houston is the 1 seed there. They're going to play SIUE, whoever that is. Houston. I've got Houston going deep in this tournament. 8-9 matchup. You got Gonzaga, Georgia. Give me Georgia.
Ew. Gross.
Georgia. I don't have Georgia going very far, and honestly, I didn't have Gonzaga going very far either. I didn't have because they got to go play Houston.
I mean, you're
Houston
not
is
wrong.
one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, sadly.
And Kelvin Sampson has done a heck of a job. Yes, former IU coach Kelvin Sampson has done a heck of a job building Houston into where they are right now.
Former Sooner coach as well.
We don't talk
Very
about
winning coach at OU, by the way.
it. He was great at OU. That's why we
He
hired him.
He coached Blake Griffin, by the way.
Coach Blake Griffin and Coach Eric Gordon.
Oh, that's right.
Not without controversy of getting Eric Gordon. By the
Not
way.
without the controversy. Yes.
Eric Gordon there for a while. One of the best 6 men in the.
Yes.
Very, very good. Anyways, so moving on to next matchup here, Clemson McNeese. I've got Clemson.
Yes.
And rumor has it the head coach of Clemson might be running for the IU job. Well,
Who is Clemson's coach?
I'm
I'm putting you on the spot, aren't I?
Put me on the spot.
Oops. You can kill me later. I'll just dangle the Dr. Pepper in front of you. That's all I'll do.
Head coach Brad Brownell or Brownell.
Oh,
Brownell. I don't know.
yeah.
60% winning percentage. I mean, he's had
It's not bad.
pretty much a winning season every year he's been to Clemson. He's had a couple Sweet 16 runs. He's been there for 15 years. He's been there since 2010.
That makes sense.
He's also from Evansville, Indiana. So if you want to have an Indiana
really?
State connection, to at least to the state of Indiana for basketball.
Yeah.
He didn't go to IU. He didn't go to any of the Power 5 or Group of 5 schools. He went to DePaul, D3 school out in Greencastle.
Well, look, DePaul had a pretty decent basketball team for a while too.
They're all right. They're all right. But yeah.
I'm sorry. You think the only thing I can think of is DePaul is the one in Chicago. Sorry.
No, that's fair.
I'm just like, wait, what?
Yeah. So DePaul, the Indiana one, not the Chicago one. But no, I don't really care who we get. I just want our fans to be patient with this next head coach. That's all I'm asking for. And if we just make the tournament every year and just slowly build and get more than just getting him by like a 12 seed and a play, that'd be nice. But anyways, so that's a whole nother podcast if I were to go into detail about that.
Yeah.
Purdue High Point. High Point's first appearance in the NCAA tournament. It's going to be very short-lived because they play Purdue. Give me Purdue.
Yeah.
I know Purdue has struggled, but give me Purdue. I gone back and forth on the Purdue Clemson matchup. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Illinois plays Texas/Xavier.
Please, God, let Texas come in.
Please,
let
they're in the play-in. They got to play Xavier.
I know they got. I hope to God that we beat Xavier, man.
But give me Illinois. Give me Illinois. Go Illinois, go Illini. What is even their mascot? Is it an Indian? I don't even know.
He used to be a
a chief.
hawk.
Yeah,
He used
they
to-
probably got rid of it because of racism. Anyways, I said it out loud. Killed Mike there. Anyways, Kentucky and Troy, the Mighty Men of Troy. Mighty Men.
This would be a game John Calipari would lose. Just saying. Just saying.
You broke Gary.
Give me Kentucky.
You broke Gary.
Just saying.
Then we've got UClaw and Utah State. This is the last games here out of the Midwest, by the way. Give me UCLA over Utah State. And then you got Tennessee Wolford. Yes, the same Wolford that, what's his name? Who's back up Jared Goff and LA for?
Oh, good question.
Names were spelled the exact same way. Anyways.
I don't know. It's on my head.
Anyways, so Tennessee Wolford, give me Tennessee. And then the next round out of the West, Florida UConn, give me Florida. Colorado State Maryland, give me Colorado State.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I have a feeling. Wouldn't
All right.
shock me. We've seen 12 seeds make it to the Sweet 16 before.
That's fair.
And a lot of upsets have been coming out of this region for the last couple of years.
Okay.
So give me Colorado State. Drake, Texas Tech, give me Texas Tech. Excuse me. And then Arkansas, St. John, you got the two Italians going at it. But give me the Godfather. Give me Rick Pitino and give me St. John's.
You know,
over the Hogs.
Rick Pitino would definitely beat that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He will. Midwest. 1-9. You got Houston, Georgia. Give me Houston. I got Houston going all the way to the Final Four.
Wow.
Clemson, Purdue. Now, let's just show you my bracket so y'all can see it on stream. I have gone back and forth with this matchup right here. I have been going back and forth for a couple hours. I did pick Purdue, but it wouldn't shock me if Clemson won the game. Because Purdue, over the last couple of months, has struggled, and they have struggled badly. But,
yeah.
But give me Purdue. All right. So, and then Illinois, Kentucky. Sorry, Joe. Illini, stop Illini. That's what's happening here. Kentucky's going to win that game. And then UCLA, Tennessee. Give me Tennessee.
Good old Rocket Top.
And then the next round here, we got the Sweet 16 Elite 8 matchups here at this bottom part of the bracket. Florida over Colorado State. Their glass slipper breaks at this matchup here, and it won't be close. St. John, Texas Tech. Give me St. John, so they'll play Florida. Houston, Purdue. Give me Houston, and give me Tennessee, Kentucky out of that matchup. It's March. Anything can happen. I know Kentucky has beat Tennessee twice.
Who'd you pick? Did you pick Kentucky over Tennessee?
I picked Tennessee over.
Okay. That's what I figured. I was just making sure I heard that right.
So, Tennessee. So, your regional final is going to be Florida, St. John, Houston, Tennessee. I've got St. John, and I've got Houston.
Okay.
My final four. It's a weird one. A little bit, because I got Ole Miss. It's at Michigan State. But Ole Miss, St. John, Duke, Houston. That's my final four. I've got Houston. I've got St. John in the national title game with Houston winning.
Wow, that is a bold pick.
That's solid.
So that's who I've got. And then, of course, if we need total points to break the tiebreaker for our group, 115 combined.
Okay.
That is insane.
Yeah.
It's not very high scoring because the national
No.
championship game rarely gets high scoring.
No, very rarely. Final four in general is very not high scoring.
Well,
But
it's because they're playing in these NFL stadiums.
yep.
And they're not. I mean, the site, the length of the rim and all that, everything's 10 feet, 12 feet, whatever, right?
Yeah.
From the rim to the free throw lines, 12 feet. All the measurements are the same, but the sight lines are so different it throws you off. And so historically, shooting is not very good you get to the Final Four in the national championship game. You rely on your defense a lot more. And I just Houston's been really good this year, and I think they finally break through. I think they get to the national championship. I think Kelvin Sampson.
That would be cool. I'm not gonna lie. If Kelvin Sampson could get his first national title, I will.
And then we're going to find out that Rick Pitino has prostitutes in the building.
Oh, bro.
Oh,
Bro. That's cold.
That was a joke from his Louisville days. Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
I had to do it. I had to do it to him. Anyways, but no, and so can I just say one thing? We were talking about this yesterday with Louisville and their national championship and all that. What I don't understand, taking wins, vacating stuff, right? But the NCAA vacating wins, losses, and national titles. We know who won the game. We know who won the national championship. Why are you vacating all that crap?
anyway, it's on video, so yeah, just the NCAA being the NCAA. So.
I mean, you might as well just give the national championship in 2013 to Michigan. Just give them the trophy. I'm sure, give them the trophy. Give them the national title. Do it.
Can we do that for the Fab Five then? Back in the 90s?
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it is so stupid that the NCAA does it. It doesn't make any sense. Take away scholarships, ban them from tournament play. That should be sufficient.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
But it's the NCAA. They're never going to make sense. So.
Exactly.
But that was my bracket. That actually went a lot quicker than I thought it was going to. So that's great. Capizio, share with the class. What do you got for your bracket?
You did a good job of explaining all the matchups, so I'm going to go through a little bit of rapid fire. Robinson kind of go through rapid fire as well.
Y'all explain
in the South,
explain it. Go for it.
In the South, Auburn 1 versus 16. I got Auburn winning that game. Louisville and Creighton. I did pick Creighton for the upset. I just think that Creighton overall to me was a better team this season than Louisville, and I think Louisville was just. I mean, they were good, but I don't think they were the greatest ACC team out there this year. So I have Creighton upsetting Louisville. And I think also Doug McDermott's dad at Creighton's done a really good job coaching all these years too. So
yeah, he's a great coach.
So I got Creighton winning that game as one of my first upsets. Michigan winning their game over the 12 seed. Texas A&M winning over Yale. Ole Miss winning their game. Iowa State winning. Marquette. I have Marquette winning over New Mexico State. I think Marquette's will have a lot more NCAA tournament experience, and I think
especially with Shaka Smart,
yeah. So I think Shaka Smart will be a little bit of the prevailing help with that, and then Michigan State. That's who I have winning over Bryant. Out of that
one's a pretty easy one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down to the West real quick. 1 versus 16, Florida. Got Florida moving on. UConn, Oklahoma. I got UConn moving on. Memphis, Colorado State. I'm picking Memphis. I was kind of going back and forth on that if I wanted to pick Colorado State or Memphis, but I feel like Memphis is a little bit of a better team, and I haven't watched Colorado State much this year, so kind of my picking on that. I went with Memphis. Maryland and Grand Canyon. That's another game I was kind of tossing up, and I'm like, because Grand Canyon, they were supposed to be really good last year, and I think they won. Didn't they win a game last year? Didn't they have an upset last year?
They did, yeah.
So I was thinking, would they do it 2 years in a row with an upset? And they have like a 31-3 record, I think. So
yeah, it's possible.
But I ended up picking Maryland just because I feel like Maryland's a better overall team.
Even though they lost to Michigan.
Yeah. They lost to Michigan on buzzer beater. So yeah.
On a buzzer beater layup. Why do you let the guy drive into the lane anyway?
No idea.
Anyways, congrats to Michigan though on winning the Big Ten conference tournament.
Yeah. Next upset I have Drake. I have Drake winning over Missouri. Missouri was not a very good team in the SEC.
I like it.
So Missouri to me.
Indiana over Missouri, but
Yeah. So I got Drake in there. Texas Tech got them winning that game. I do have Kansas beating Arkansas. Bye Cal. You're one and done, like you have been for the last couple years. Keep on going. So
I guess we call them Big Red Nation. Still bring back nothing.
Yeah, basically. St. John's got them winning in that matchup over Omaha. Going to the East, I have Duke winning. Not surprising. I had Mississippi State beating Baylor. Mississippi State to me was a good team in the SEC this year. I've seen them play. And I think they'll have a little bit more firepower than Baylor. So I have Mississippi State winning. Oregon at Liberty, I have Oregon moving on. Arizona, Akron, I got Arizona moving on. Next upset, I have VCU over BYU.
Woo-hoo! All right. Okay.
There's always one team that's either 11 seed or 12 seed, like we mentioned, that's going to have an upset. And I believe it's going to be VCU's turn this year to beat BYU. And VCU's done it in the past, too, when they've.
Yeah.
So,
like we said earlier, out of the play into the Final Four. I mean, they've done it.
So I have VCU doing an upset over BYU.
Okay.
I got Wisconsin beating Montana. St. Mary's, I have them beating Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, to me, in the SEC was overrated. I mean, they were good, but they weren't great. And then Alabama, no shocks there, winning over Robert Morris.
Or some high tide.
Yeah, high tide. High tide, guys. In the Midwest, I have Houston moving on. I have Gonzaga beating Georgia. I have Clemson beating McNeese. I have Purdue beating High Point. I have Illinois beating Texas/Xavier. Kentucky beating Troy. UCLA beating Utah State. I have UCLA moving on and Tennessee moving on as well. So, going to move to the round of the 32 bracket now. Starting in the South region, Auburn versus Creighton. I have Auburn winning. Big upset right here in the next matchup. Michigan. I have them beating Texas A&M to go to the Sweet 16. Sorry, Mike.
Y'all are really going to hate my picks then. I swear to God.
Oh, I'm going to put yours on the screen since Campigio didn't want to have his on the screen.
Yeah, Campigio, you party pooper.
I couldn't sign into my account on my computer, so I'm doing this off my phone. So
okay.
All right. We'll unslide this time.
We'll let it slide this time.
Next matchup, Iowa State and Ole Miss. I have Iowa State actually. I have Iowa State moving on to beat Ole Miss.
Okay, I can respect that. I can respect that.
We'll see. Ole Miss was a good team in the SEC this year. Gary brought up a lot of good points on them. I just think that Iowa State, it's their year to make a somewhat deep run. So that's my only reason.
You're not wrong.
That's my only reason why I picked Iowa State. Michigan State and Marquette. Tom Izzo goes to the Sweet 16 once again with Michigan State. I have them moving on. In the West, Florida, UConn. I have Florida moving on to the Sweet 16. Memphis and Maryland. I have Maryland moving on to the Sweet 16. Texas Tech and Drake. I have Texas Tech moving on to the Sweet 16. The Cinderella story for Drake ends at the round of 32.
Oh.
So
that's a Mike Tyson punch to the gut.
A little bit, right? Oof. And then finally, Kansas, St. John's, Bill Self, you are done for the year. St. John's, Rick Pitino, moving on.
And Bill Self's probably getting fired. Bye.
Bye. Have a wonderful time.
Yeah, right. Moving on to the East, Duke and Mississippi State. I got Duke moving on. Arizona and Oregon. I have Arizona moving on to the Sweet 16. VCU and Wisconsin. I have Wisconsin moving on to the Sweet 16. St. Mary's and Alabama. I have Alabama moving on to the Sweet 16. Moving to the Midwest, I have Houston over Gonzaga. Houston will go to the Sweet 16. And this is the same matchup that Gary had. Clemson and Purdue. But I'm going to take Clemson to upset Purdue and Clemson going to the Sweet 16.
Ooh, can't blame me.
Ooh.
So Clemson made a deep run last year too. So I mean,
they did.
I think they'll lean on that experience, and I think they have most of their guys back from last year. And then Illinois and Kentucky. Sorry, Joe. Kentucky's moving on to the Sweet 16. And Tennessee and UCLA. I have Tennessee moving on to the Sweet 16. Now switching to the Sweet 16. Auburn and Michigan. Dusty May and Michigan's season ends to Auburn. Auburn's going to the Elite Eight in my bracket. Iowa State and Michigan State. I have Tom Izzo making the Elite Eight. Michigan State's moving on. They're beating Iowa State. In the West, Florida and Maryland. Florida is going to move on to the Elite Eight. Texas Tech and St. John's. I got Rick Pitino and St. John's moving on to the Elite Eight. Duke and Arizona in the East. I have Duke moving on to the Elite Eight. Wisconsin and Alabama. I have Alabama moving on to the Elite Eight. Houston and Clemson in the Midwest. I have Houston moving on to the Elite Eight. And Tennessee and Kentucky. I have Tennessee, unfortunately, ending Kentucky's season, even though Kentucky's beat them twice this season. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year, and Kentucky's battling with a bunch of injuries right now. So I think Mark Pope gets the boys to the Sweet 16, and that's it. Now, if they somehow beat Tennessee, I will be very happy as a fan. But my realistic expectation, it's going to be Sweet 16, and that's it. Just because I think Tennessee has a lot more healthier team than what we do right now. And it's hard to beat a team.
That's valid.
It's very hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 season.
That is valid.
So Kentucky season ends in the Sweet 16 this year in my bracket. The Elite Eight, Auburn, Michigan State. I have Auburn going to the Final Four. Florida and St. John's. St. John's to the Final Four, upsetting Florida.
Not much of an upset, but anyways.
In the East, Duke and Alabama. Duke's going to the Final Four. In the Midwest, Houston and Tennessee. Houston's going to the Final Four. So my Final Four matchups are Auburn and St. John's. I got St. John's winning that game. Sorry, Joe. And St. John's is going to the national title game. In the East, it's Duke and Houston. And I got Duke beating Houston to go to the national title game. My national title game is St. John's and Duke. And I have Duke winning it. Unfortunately, I have Duke winning it. So,
oh, I'm sorry, I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
So, I mean, Duke's team's really good this year. They got the #1 player in the NBA draft, and even without them, they did really well in the ACC tournament, won the whole thing, even though they did get lucky with a free throw violation on North Carolina. So, I have Duke winning it. All the tiebreaker, 100 points total. Is what I have for my tiebreaker. So that is my bracket for this year.
Can you make yours full screen here, Mike, and then I will move your.
Yes. There we go.
I appreciate you. All right, Robinson.
All right. Oh, you guys are gonna friggin' love this.
Read it off. Let's hear it.
All right. So Auburn's obviously winning their game. First upset on my bracket is going to be Creighton beating Louisville. Michigan's going to beat University of California, San Diego. A&M is definitely beating Yale. Ole Miss is going to beat whoever they play. Iowa State over Lipscomb. And this is where it's going to get weird. You ready for this?
All right, let's hear it.
Marquette beats New Mexico.
Okay.
Michigan State beats Bryant. So
that's not really getting weird.
Just wait. Duke goes on in their game. Baylor beats Mississippi State. Bear down. I've got Baylor going a little deep in this one. Oregon over Liberty, Arizona over Akron, BYU over Victory Christian, Wisconsin over Montana.
By the way, VCU is Virginia Commonwealth.
Oh, Virginia Commonwealth. Okay, never mind. My bad. Sorry. Vanderbilt upset St. Mary's. Alabama beats Robert Morris. Going to the West, Florida beats Norfolk State. OU, Boomer Sooner, beats UConn. Memphis beats Colorado State. Maryland over Grand Canyon. Missouri beats Drake. Texas Tech beats UNC Wilmington. Kansas over Arkansas. St. John's over Omaha. In the Midwest, I've got Houston going on. Gonzaga. The Gonzaga Bulldogs beat the Bulldogs of Georgia.
Sorry.
Clemson beats McNeese. Purdue beats High Point. Illinois beats whoever they play out of Texas and Xavier. God, I hate to say this and root against Texas. Kentucky beats Troy. UCLA beats Utah State, and good old Rocky Top beats Wolford. Auburn versus Creighton. Auburn beats Creighton to go on. Texas A&M. Texas A&M beats Michigan to play Auburn. Iowa State beats Ole Miss. Marquette beats Michigan State. Duke versus Baylor. Duke is going to beat Baylor. Oregon loses to Arizona. I'm going to give Arizona this one.
Okay.
Wisconsin beats Brigham Young. Alabama beats Vanderbilt.
Okay.
Florida, Oklahoma. Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner, baby. Send them Gators back to Florida.
Wow.
Maryland beats Memphis. Texas Tech beats Missouri. Kansas beats St. John's.
Huh?
Houston gets beat.
Wow.
Hold on.
Wow.
Okay,
I told you it's going to get weird. I told you it's going to get weird. Gonzaga beats Houston. Purdue beats Clemson.
What the hell is this?
Illinois beats Kentucky, and Tennessee beats UCLA.
Oh, come on now. Come on. All right, keep going.
You know what the worst part is? I can see this totally happening in real life, but keep going.
Could you imagine the luck? Auburn beats A&M to play Marquette.
Okay.
Marquette beats Iowa State. Duke beats Arizona. Wisconsin beats Alabama.
Roll Tide.
High tide.
High tide, guys. High tide.
Okay.
OU beats Maryland.
Huh?
Kansas beats Texas Tech, so it's going to be OU versus Kansas.
Oh, come on. What the hell is that?
You guys are really going to be going, what the hell?
Okay.
Tennessee beats Illinois to go play Gonzaga, who beats Purdue.
Oh, my God in heaven.
So that is coming down to my final four.
Okay.
Tennessee beats Auburn gets beat by Kansas.
Oh my God.
And I'm gonna pull out my inner Pat McAfee. Give me good old Rocky Top to the national championship game against Kansas, and Tennessee beats Kansas with a tiebreaker of 98 points.
There's one in every crowd, folks. One in every freaking crowd.
Hey, look, I like Tennessee, okay? Tennessee has Texas's winningest basketball coach in Rick Barnes, okay?
You have the bracket of just flat chaos. If TJ was here, it would be just straight chaos. That's
dude, I'm telling you, I went chaos with this one.
Now, if somehow, let's say this all works and Mike Robinson somehow beats me and Gary, flowers to you, bud. I will
give you your flowers. Don't you worry about that.
No, you'll give me my Ulafala. You will recognize me.
No.
Knowing my luck, this bracket's going to be busted.
I will not acknowledge you.
Okay, Solo. No,
absolute chaos.
I wanted chaos with this one, but see,
oh my gosh,
like I said, Tennessee,
you got it.
You wanted it, you got it. I mean, Tennessee has a really, really good coach in Rick Barnes. Okay,
I understand what they've got. It's
just the picks.
But listen. This I picked it this way because God rest her soul. Tennessee needs something since Pat Summitt, man. I feel like Tennessee can do it this year. I feel like Tennessee can pull this off. They've looked really strong all year. They have looked really strong, but you know, I've always been a sucker for those Cinderella story schools, those smaller schools like Gonzaga. Like anytime Butler's in it, I'll tell you right now, if Butler had been in this, Butler would have been going all the way. I would have had Butler all the way to the championship game because I love Butler basketball. You guys got the chaos with this one.
Yeah. So that's gonna wrap up kind of our men's college hoops preview. We didn't do the women's tonight because the women's brackets were coming out while we were doing the show live, everybody. So we will do our picks this week and kind of talk about the women's stuff next week. I can give you guys the number one seeds overall if you would like to hear them because they were announced.
Let's hear it.
UCLA is the number one overall seed in the bracket.
No shocking.
South Carolina is the other number one
Yep.
overall seed. Texas Longhorns is the third number one overall seed, and
Their women's
USC
teams were-
and the USC Trojans is the number one overall seed as the fourth.
Yeah.
Those are your top four seeds for the women's tournament.
Okay. All right.
But we will make picks for that during the week, and we will talk about our women's brackets. next week.
Interesting to see two Big Ten teams have the top two, having a couple of ones in there. It's pretty impressive.
Still not used to them being Big Ten teams. I just think if they're Pac-12 teams or Pac-10 teams. you know what I
Pac-2.
mean?
Pack 2.
But it's gonna be a wild week, folks. A lot of sports this week.
I wanted to go out on this little stat here, and I'm circling back to the NASCAR stuff. I was checking Twitter while we were all going over our picks and listening intently. Bob Pockris tweeted this: the last 17 races, okay? Last 17 races, NASCAR Cup Series races. Okay? Who has the most wins?
The most wins?
At
Oh.
In the last 17 races, Penske has won 4 of those races. JGR and Hendrick have both won 3 races apiece. This will shock you next in the last 17 races. The Wood brothers have won 2.
Okay.
2?
Harrison Burton at Daytona,
Yep.
Josh Berry today.
Yep.
So does Trevor Baines not count?
That's in the last 17.
Well, the last
races
17
from
Cup
last-
races.
Oh,
Yeah,
last
from
17.
year.
Last 17. Okay. Fair enough, valid.
Kayak, aka JTG Daughtery Racing, when Ricky Spenhouse won at Talladega. 2311. I don't know where that one was at.
Tyler Reddick in Miami.
That's right. Oh yeah, that's right. With the last lap pass. Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
Trackhouse with.
Ross Chastain at Kansas.
Oh yeah. Thanks. RFK, and I think that's Buscher's win at Watkins Glen.
Yep.
And then SHR.
I can see SHR
Chase
being there.
Briscoe at Darlington.
Oh, right. Chase Briscoe at Darlington last year.
Oh, that's right.
How could I forget? Anyway.
Yeah.
So
Oh no. Anyways.
I just wanted to
Oh,
share
no.
that with you. A team that's closed down won a race. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, so that is gonna do it for us tonight. Way shorter than last week. Thank you, Lord. I hope you guys enjoyed the
Everybody-
content. We'll keep this up for the month of March. We'll be a little more basketball focused. We'll have some racing stuff we'll talk about per usual, but I think we're gonna be more March Madness centric.
I will mention real quick. If anybody cares this week, Dodgers Cubs start the regular season 2 weeks
Yes.
2 weeks
Korea.
before it in Japan. Yes, but
Oh, Japan. I'm sorry.
yeah, 2 games Tuesday, Wednesday, 6 a.m. Eastern time on your local Fox station. It's the regular season before the actual regular season starts.
Are you
blah,
gonna
blah,
get
blah.
up and watch your Dodgers?
Sir, I'll be going to work, bro.
You'll be sleeping. Anyways, I'll be sleeping. I ain't gonna lie. I don't get up at 6 a.m. Eastern. But anyways, so yeah, good stuff happening here this few weeks. We'll talk about it some. We'll talk about the other sports for sure.
Enjoy the madness, everybody. This first one. Enjoy
Playoffs
the
are
madness.
heating up though for NHL and NBA. We talk about as we end the month of March, head into April. That'll be a good time to talk about that. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for us today. But Robinson, any final thoughts before we wrap up everything?
Did anybody like my chaos? Did I choose enough violence to start off March Madness?
I think you
Put it
chose
in the
enough-
comments. Put it in the comments below, people.
Yeah, talk about that. Talk about that in the comments, folks. I had to pull away the bracket so you all could see Capizio's and I's faces with Mr. Chaos over here. Had to show that. So, but that is going to do it for us today. To play us out. No, I'm just kidding. Still rowdy there. By the way, happy St. Patrick's Day. Celebrate
Yep.
tomorrow. And that is it for us today. So we are done.
Enjoy the madness for everybody.
Enjoy the madness. Enjoy the month of March. We will
You
be
stay
back.
classy.
We will be back next Sunday to talk about Thermal Club, a Homestead Miami, maybe a little bit of golf action if there is any. MLB because it's season opener.
Oh,
NHL.
that's right.
The first couple of rounds of the NCAA tournament are going to be this weekend.
And it'll still be ongoing while we're on the air too on Sunday.
Probably. Yeah, I'll probably have it off to the side over here watching the games anyways. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, AJ, for allowing us to be on your channel. And thank you to all of our loyal listeners. I know we were away there for about a month, but thank you guys for sticking with us, and glad to be back. And we will be seeing y'all next time. Thank you guys.